Metal lath under stucco can act as a Faraday cage, significantly blocking radio signals. This shielding effect reduces the effective range of remote controls. A 400 amp service can introduce substantial electrical noise that interferes with radio signals. This interference can disrupt the communication between the remote and the receiver. The specified range, such as 75 feet, is an optimal value. Obstacles, walls, and other environmental factors can reduce the actual usable distance. Indoor placement, particularly behind a wood garage door, can further limit the range of the remote control signal. To address these issues, firstly, relocate the receiver to a more central location. This minimizes shielding and electrical interference. Secondly, use an amplifier or repeater like the HC Atware. These devices extend the range and improve signal strength. Thirdly, consider X-10 products. These use a different frequency and might perform better in specific environments. X-10 offers a signal booster, Model SXB1250, that can extend the range up to 1250 feet. Fourthly, explore other brands of remote control systems. These might offer superior performance in your particular setting. Research and compare different options to find one that meets your requirements. Fifthly, contact the manufacturer again. There may be an issue with the receiver or remote itself, which requires further troubleshooting. Installing a weatherproof receptacle with an in-use cover might not adequately prevent electrical interference from a high amperage service. X-10 products are not fully compatible with certain home control systems. While you can sometimes use an X-10 remote with a different receiver, the reverse is not always possible. It is essential to verify if the X-10 signal booster is compatible with the receiver you are using. This compatibility check ensures that the booster will effectively extend the range of the receiver. The placement of the receiver is critical. Avoid placing it in areas where metal structures or electrical equipment might interfere with the signal. Experiment with different locations to find the optimal spot for signal reception. Amplifiers and repeaters boost the signal strength of the remote control, compensating for signal loss due to distance or obstacles. These devices rebroadcast the signal, extending its range and improving its reliability. X-10 technology uses power lines to transmit control signals. This approach can be less susceptible to interference from radio frequency sources. However, it can be affected by electrical noise and the power lines. When considering alternative brands, research their operating frequencies, range capabilities, and susceptibility to interference. Look for systems that are designed to perform well in challenging environments. Thorough troubleshooting involves systematically testing different components and configurations to identify the source of the problem. Check the batteries in the remote control, ensure the receiver is properly connected, and test the system in different locations. The 400 amp service, comprising dual 200 amp services in parallel, presents a significant potential source of electrical noise. This noise can disrupt the operation of the remote control system. The stucco exterior with metal lath creates a partial Faraday cage. This cage attenuates radio signals, reducing the effective range of the remote control. The wood garage door provides some attenuation, but it is not as significant as the metal lath. Moving the receiver outside, even with a short extension cord, might not eliminate the interference if the surrounding environment is still affected by electrical noise or shielding. The recommendation from the manufacturer to consider X-10 suggests that they recognize the limitations of their own system in certain environments. X-10 has been around for a long time and is a relatively old technology. However, it can still be effective in situations where radio frequency signals are problematic. Before investing in X-10, thoroughly research its capabilities and limitations to ensure that it meets your needs. Consider the specific layout of the house and the location of the devices being controlled. This can help determine the best placement for the receiver and any signal boosters. If possible, try to minimize the number of obstacles between the remote control and the receiver. Obstacles such as walls, furniture, and appliances can weaken the signal. Ensure that the receiver is properly grounded. A poor ground connection can increase the susceptibility to electrical noise. Check the wiring connections to the receiver and the devices being controlled. Loose or corroded connections can cause signal degradation. If you are using an amplifier or repeater, make sure it is properly configured and positioned. Experiment with different settings to find the optimal performance. If you have other wireless devices in the house, such as Wi-Fi routers or cordless phones, they could be interfering with the remote control signal. Try to keep these devices away from the receiver. Consider using a different channel or frequency for the remote control system. This can help reduce interference from other wireless devices. If you are still having problems, consult with a qualified electrician or home automation specialist. They can help you diagnose the problem and recommend the best solution. The key is to systematically address each potential cause of interference and to test the system thoroughly after making any changes. Remember that the stated range of 75 feet is just an estimate. The actual range will vary depending on the environment. Do not expect the remote control to work reliably at the maximum range in all situations. If you need to control devices that are located far from the receiver, consider using a wired control system instead of a wireless one. Wired systems are not susceptible to interference from radio frequency sources. They also provide a more reliable connection. However, they can be more difficult to install. Before making any changes to the electrical system, consult with a qualified electrician. This ensures that the work is done safely and in compliance with local codes. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is best to leave the work to a professional. Incorrect wiring can be dangerous and can damage the equipment. When choosing a remote control system, consider the features that are important to you. Some systems offer advanced features such as scene control, scheduling, and voice control. Other systems are more basic but are easier to use. Choose a system that meets your needs and budget. Read the reviews before buying any remote control system. This can help you avoid systems that have known problems. Look for systems that have good customer support. This will be helpful if you need assistance with installation or troubleshooting. Consider the long-term cost of ownership. Some systems require ongoing subscriptions or fees. Others are one-time purchases. Choose a system that is affordable over the long term. If you're planning to install a smart home system, make sure that all of the components are compatible with each other. This will ensure that the system works seamlessly. Consult with a home automation specialist to design a system that meets your needs. They can help you choose the right components and ensure that the system is properly installed. Smart home technology is constantly evolving. Stay up to date on the latest trends and developments. This will help you make informed decisions about your home automation system. Consider the security implications of your smart home system. Make sure that the system is properly secured to prevent unauthorized access. Use strong passwords and enable two-factor authentication. Keep the software on your smart home devices up to date. This will help protect against security vulnerabilities. Be aware of the privacy implications of your smart home system. Some devices collect data about your usage patterns. Review the privacy policies of the manufacturers before using these devices. The metal lath is grounded, creating a more effective shield. This grounding enhances the Faraday cage effect, further blocking radio signals. The garage door, even though made of wood, may have metal components such as hinges, tracks, and hardware which can contribute to signal attenuation. The high amperage service can generate electromagnetic interference that affects the receiver's ability to accurately decode the remote control signal. The proximity of the receiver to other electrical devices, such as the garage door opener, can also contribute to interference. The type of remote control signal used by the Leviton system can affect its range and susceptibility to interference. Some signals are more robust than others. The orientation of the receiver's antenna can affect its ability to receive the signal. Experiment with different antenna positions to see if it improves the range. The presence of other wireless networks in the area, such as Wi-Fi networks, can also interfere with the remote control signal. Try to minimize the overlap between these networks. The age and condition of the wiring in the house can affect the level of electrical noise. Old or damaged wiring can generate more noise. Consider having the wiring inspected by a qualified electrician. The type of light bulbs being used in the house can also affect the level of electrical noise. Some light bulbs, such as compact fluorescent lamps, can generate more noise than others. Try using different types of light bulbs to see if it reduces the interference. If you have any dimmer switches in the house, they can also generate electrical noise. Try replacing the dimmer switches with standard switches to see if it improves the range. The location of the transformer for the underground service can affect the level of electrical noise. If the transformer is located close to the house, it may generate more noise. The quality of the power supplied by the utility company can also affect the level of electrical noise. Problems with the power grid can sometimes cause voltage fluctuations and other disturbances that can interfere with electronic devices. Contacting the utility company to report any power quality issues. Consider using a power line filter to reduce the level of electrical noise in the power lines. Power line filters can help to clean up the power and improve the performance of electronic devices. Consult with a qualified electrician or home automation specialist to determine the best way to address the interference problems. They can help you diagnose the problem and recommend the most effective solutions. The use of a spectrum analyzer to measure the level of radio frequency interference in the area. This can help identify the sources of interference and determine the best way to mitigate them. The use of a shielded enclosure to house the receiver. This can help to block out external interference. The use of a directional antenna to focus the receiver's sensitivity in a particular direction. This can help to improve the range and reduce interference. Consider using a mesh network system for home automation. Mesh networks use multiple devices to create a robust and reliable network. This can help to overcome the limitations of traditional point-to-point systems. Research the different types of mesh network systems available and choose one that meets your needs. Make sure that the mesh network system is compatible with the devices you want to control. Consider the security features of the mesh network system. Choose a system that is properly secured to prevent unauthorized access. The use of a surge protector to protect the receiver from power surges. Power surges can damage electronic devices and can also cause interference. Install a surge protector on the power line that supplies the receiver. Consider using uninterruptible power supply to provide backup power to the receiver. This can help to keep the system running during power outages. The location of the receiver in relation to the earth ground. A proper earth ground can help to reduce electrical noise and improve the performance of the system. Consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the receiver is properly grounded. Consider the use of fiber optic cables to transmit the control signals. Fiber optic cables are immune to electrical noise and can provide a very reliable connection. However, they can be more expensive and more difficult to install. The use of wireless repeaters to extend the range of the remote control signal. Wireless repeaters can be placed in strategic locations throughout the house to boost the signal and overcome obstacles. Make sure that the wireless repeaters are compatible with the remote control system. Consider the use of a home automation hub to centralize the control of all of the devices in the house. A home automation hub can make it easier to manage and control the system. Choose a home automation hub that is compatible with the devices you want to control. Ensure that the home automation hub is properly secured to prevent unauthorized access. The use of a virtual assistant such as Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant to control the remote control system. This can allow you to control the system with your voice. Make sure that the virtual assistant is compatible with the remote control system. Consider the privacy implications of using a virtual assistant. Review the privacy policies of the virtual assistant provider. If the problem persists, you may need to consult with a professional home automation installer. They can assess your specific situation and recommend the best solution for your needs. A professional installer can also help you install and configure the system. This can ensure that the system is working properly and that you are getting the most out of it. The installer should be able to provide documentation for future debugging.